Agreed. Supervisor? Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Town of Waukesha Town Board meeting on April 26, 2018, beginning at 6:31 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order and begin with Pledge of Allegiance. And Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Chairman Merrick?
Present.
Supervisor Fisher?
Here.
Supervisor Wolf?
Here.
Supervisor Radke?
Here.
Supervisor Durr?
Here. And Madam Clerk, have we met the Opens Meetings Law?
Yes, we have.
And we can begin with citizens' comments. Come on up. Good evening.
Good evening. James Kowalski, South 29 West 27326 Green Lane, Town of Waukesha. I have some questions and they're not all on the agenda. So can I submit them written to you and at some point in time down the future, get them answered?
You bet. Who would you like them submitted to? All of us or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Will do.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Then we can move on to meeting minutes of March 22nd and April 12th. Madam Clerk, was everybody present on both days?
We're going to have no action on the April 12th.
Okay. Then we'll move on to March 22nd. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of March 22nd, 2018.
And a second.
Second.
Any discussion? In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And we'll table the April 12th minutes until the next regular meeting of the board.
Yes.
And on to number 7, reports. We'll begin with the clerk treasurer.
Right, the treasurer's report, our general fund revenues are at $1,490,402. Our general fund expenditures are $632,246. We have no change in the fire inspection revenues. Our fire inspection expenditures are $5,578. There has been no change in our capital fund revenues or expenditures. We had one public records request from Everett German. He requested the sign-in sheet from the March 8th public hearing that has been completed. Our well monitoring has been completed and updated information has been placed on the website. During the annual meeting, the assessor discussed the 2017 equalized value was around 88%. I just want to remind you that we have the reevaluation of properties slated for in our capital projects in 2019. Okay.
2019?
2019, so next year. Concerning salt for the upcoming 2018-2019 snow season, the county's requested an estimate of the amount. And after a review of the past 7 snow seasons, the average usage was a little over 13 ton. We've estimated 1,300 ton. Thanks. We have estimated 1,400 ton for the 2018-2019 season. No town board action is needed at this time as we do not pay for salt and we have until we use it throughout the season. Salt's been budgeted. The amount per ton has not been determined at this point because the state gets all the estimates, then gets their price later. So I'll bring that back when we get the price. As requested by the board, we have drawn up 2 draft letters concerning ditch mowing and the address sign noncompliance letters. Both are on the agenda for tonight's. Once complete, we'll send them out to the residents. We have a list of residents without address signs, and I'm working with DPW to gather the information on the property ditches that we've mowed in the past. Our spring street sweeping has been completed. We've started to look at 2 vehicles that were listed for replacement this year in the DPW capital projects. when the vehicle is found, and that information will be brought to the board for approval for the purchase. Our paving bid requests have gone out. They're due back May 3rd. You'll see the bids on the May 10th meeting. We have contacted the county exec's office to receive a copy of the fire study report. They were hoping to hold a meeting to present that report sometime during the week of May 21st, and we will be invited at that time. We received a quote for a replacement network server for the town using the state procurement program of $14,510. This amount does not exceed the 2018 capital budget amount approved for the purchase of the server on the agenda tonight. Our noncompliance is down to 13. 3 are in court. 3 have extensions given. 1 is in their first 30 days. 4 received compliance letters, and 2 are on hold. We had the election in April. We had 2243 voters in April, which is 31% of the voting age population, which is much higher than we had in 2017, which was 19%. The State Elections Commission will be setting up some review of the Badger Book, which is their electronic poll book. We're hoping to go and see that in May and get that ready for our August election. The website computer, we have a quote that's in front of you to upgrade for an additional camera to allow the viewers at home to see the people that are speaking at the microphone. This update will also help with our inconsistencies with our video that's being updated. We also received an update for our projector system for future discussion. The search for a DPW worker to do work at the town hall has started. We've sent that to the school district. We've posted it on our posting boards. We put it on the website, and we've also put it on Indeed.com. We hope to get someone hired before the end of May. We placed recruitment signs with the chief around on all the posting boards. We've put a fillable application on the website, and we hope to have a fillable application that can be automatically sent by our applicants directly to the correct people, either chief, myself, and that's what I have for today.
Thank you. Any questions for the clerk?
Can I just offer a constructive suggestion to the clerk and to the board,
Sure.
please? Back to the issue of employment opportunities and a bit the history. You heard part of your report there, but I know when we were looking to fill that DPW position, I suggested it ought to be put onto the town website. And I know Supervisor Radke brought up the issue, I think last month, with regard to opportunities in the fire department. I went and looked on the website, and I know Chairman Merrick said couldn't find it, couldn't fill it, couldn't do it. That was actually 2 places that I found on the website. If you go to the How Do I and went into there, you could find an application for the fire department, which was not fillable. If you went to the fire department drawdown onto the website, part of it, and you go into there, you could find 2 applications, one for firefighter, I think, and one for cadet. Both of those were fillable in that place. Again, thinking a little bit, and I appreciate now we put something up there for the summer help thing, but I looked at a couple of places. I looked at the city of Brookfield, and I think I looked at the town of Vernon's one, and most of the municipalities on their website have right on the home page a big thing that says employment opportunities. I mean, and I see you shaking your head. I'd suggest that we set that place up as employment opportunities, because we're trying to be user-friendly to people trying to find something. They shouldn't have to hunt like the town chairman was or other people. So I'd say we put up employment opportunities, and then certainly they can be fillable if they require signatures and need to be sent back, whatever it is, but have DPW position, summer help position, clerk's office, fire department, whatever it is, a place that says employment opportunities. And I'd really encourage thought be given to that. Thank you.
I've already started that with our vendor, getting a button on there. So I appreciate being on the same page.
Anybody else? Then we can move on to the DPW. I see Jerry Noley in the audience. Good evening.
Good evening. The month of April, we started off by taking down our snow fence. I don't know if that was a little premature or not, because in April we had a couple substantial events. So we did work on snow removal. We had a couple seasonal snow plow drivers that were real substantial and did a great job this year. One of them's here tonight is Mike Borchert. The other one is Andre, excuse me, his last name Dukes or whatever like that. They're both town residents. And I think they both did a really super job this year. When I called them, their response time, they were there within 20 minutes. I couldn't ask for more. So that was good. Other than that, we worked on vehicle and equipment maintenance. We did some culvert installation, lots 81, 82, and 70 in Rolling Oaks. We repaired mailboxes we damaged, through snow plowing and whatnot. We assisted the clerk with the spring election, which I think went pretty much routine and smooth. We're training a new employee that was just hired in April. His name is Patrick Wardlaw. Is that how it's pronounced? It's terrible with names. I think he's doing a good job. Younger gentleman. I think he'll work out good. A little training, he'll be fine. Worked on some tree and brush removal. We worked on Big Bend Town Line and Point Drive, cutting trees and brush. Some road patching. I know in the May report I have a cross culvert that failed on Daleview and Marlene. That's already been completed. The road started to collapse, so we had to replace the road culvert. That's done. It just has to be paved over. So that's taken care of. So otherwise in May, I've got probably about 8 more culverts to put in. Building must be going good. Bellman's got a lot of building going on. Cider Hills, Rolling Oaks. I got some private contractors, one on Apache Pass, one on Mala Drive. I got a supposed culvert extension on Charles. I don't know if that's been paid for or taken care of yet or not, but that's upcoming. I think it's a non-compliance issue. So yeah, we're going to work on some more tree and brush work, grounds maintenance. We got the ball field to get up and running for the upcoming season, and repairing our salt shed that is in the city now. Due to the high winds, it left the town of Waukesha grounds and is now in the city of Waukesha. So we got to replace that, and we're working. So other than that, I think that's my report.
Thank you. Any questions for Jerry? We can move on to the fire department. Chief.
March, we had 26 ambulance requests, 4 motor vehicle accidents, 8 fire responses. We gave mutual aid 7 times and we received mutual aid 8 times. We had 1 new member start in March, who's going to be in fire school this summer. We had 1 member on leave of absence, a secretary treasurer, and 2 high school cadets. The insurance service office sent us our rating after several years of work trying to get that procured. Our ISO rating went from an 8 down to a split rating of 3 and 3Y, Y indicating that you're more than 1,000 feet from a fire hydrant. Fire inspections continue for 2018.
Thank you. Any questions for the chief? And thank you. We can move on to the sheriff's department. They're not here, so we'll move on to old business. Maintenance of cross culverts under town roads. Supervisor Fisher, did you have some action you wanted to take on this? You have a motion?
No, I don't have a motion at this point in time, but I'd like to have some discussion on the item. Good night.
We're going to follow Robert's Rules of Order. Motions and seconds, and we'll have discussion.
So you're not going to even allow any discussion of it?
We're going to follow Robert's Rules of Order.
Well, my question is, you're not going to allow that item to be discussed?
No, we're going to follow Robert's Rules of Order. A motion and a second and discussion. That's Robert's Rules of Order.
Well, this, respectfully, Mr. Chairman, this says discussion and possible action. It doesn't say there's going to be a motion, doesn't say there's going to be action. So I would like to have discussion.
Robert's Rules of Order says motion, second, discussion. Okay, nothing? Then we can move on. Update on an agreement of Town of Vernon for shared DPW personnel and equipment. I don't have any update. Supervisor Durr, you were involved in that, anything?
I do not.
Okay. Anybody else? We can move on to C, discussion and possible action on a draft reminder letter of notice for ditch mowing. Is there a motion? I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
What's your motion?
Make the motion to accept the letter that the clerk has prepared. Sorry.
I'll second.
Discussion. Seeing none, we've got a first and a second. All in favor?
I'm sorry, Chairman. Madam Clerk, I thought we had discussed a couple times about including some information about contractors who might, do we have any success with that?
I'm sorry. I will put that on the letter.
Okay. So did we get interest from contractors?
We did not, but I'll reach out again and see if I can get some,
Okay,
and try to get this out.
so a couple of residents in my subdivision are affected by this, and he was interested if there would be contractors that people could contact that might have some interest in doing this between, on behalf of some of the residents. So the clerk is going to look into that, include that information if we do get somebody.
Good suggestion.
Question, do we have an idea of how many of these letters would be mailed out if we approve this?
That I do not yet. I've got the director has given me, the DPW director has given me the map to go through, and we haven't started compiling that, but as soon as we move forward on this, then I can compile the number of records. I can go ahead and address that, let you know that as soon as I get the final number.
So when do we think that the letter will be ready to go out?
May. We'll get it out this May, because it's next week.
Okay.
So,
Because I just want to make sure we get it out before the grass gets too
Yeah.
long.
right.
Okay.
Just a question. The letter states it's really just a notification. There's not any follow-up other than sending the letter, correct?
Correct.
Anything else? So then, with the addition of the possible contractors, the letter would go out as written. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to D, discussion of possible action on the draft address posting non-compliance letter.
Yes, so if you remember, we had someone go out and when we had the cross culverts main lists made, we also had them go out and check the residents for addresses. We have that list, and we've been reducing the number of people that are on the list that did order the red sign since, but we now need to send out letters. We're ready to send out a letter and let them know that we have an ordinance. It requires them to post their address in two possible ways.
So I'd make a motion to authorize the clerk to draft a letter to send to people still in non-compliance for addressing in the town and mail that letter out.
Second? Is that Larry? Second. Okay. Any discussion?
Well, isn't that letter attached here?
It is,
Yeah, okay.
Oh, is it? I'm
yes,
sorry.
on the other side of it's right before the ditch mowing one,
Oh, right before.
right before.
Got it.
Thank you.
You good?
I'm good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to new business, discussion and possible action, direct the clerk treasurer to advertise the bid for the 2018-2019 snow plow season. Is there a motion to direct the clerk?
I'll make a motion that we direct the clerk to advertise the bid for the snowplow season.
And a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Do we know what that looks like?
Do we know what
Yeah,
yes.
the document?
I was just going to send the same one that I sent last year out. Did you want a copy of that?
Please,
I'd be happy to send it.
thank you. Are we giving any information about soliciting for number of areas or which areas in the town? Is there any specificity on that in the solicitation at all?
Yes, it says 3 routes, and that's what we have currently. I don't think you were planning on picking up any additional routes, were you?
No.
Correct? Okay. So I was going to write it the same way as last year with 3 routes and state which routes they are.
Anything further? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to 2, direct the clerk treasurer to work with the DPW director on the 2018 road crack filling and go out for bid using a form approved by the town attorney. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, we direct the clerk treasurer to put together the bid for road crack filling.
And a second.
I'll second that.
Discussion.
Do we have a list of the roads that would be involved? Or
Yes,
the
we do.
Costs or anything?
I sent you the list by email. I also put that on your desk, I believe, or in your box. The list of roads.
So we're proposing to do all of the roads that are on that list.
Well, I'll work with Director Noli, and we will prioritize them on the amount that we might be able to get through. I don't know if we were talking a little bit, Jerry, if you want to step up. We talked a little bit about the fact that, we might not be able to do all the slag because we may not have the money to do all of that.
So how much, and I imagine we could take these in each order, but we've got the same thing for slag work and spot sealing. Do we have a budget for each of those that we're shooting for, or a total amount of expenditure?
Not for each of them. We have a certain amount of money allotted just for road work.
And how much is it for those three?
I think Mike or the clerk could tell you that.
It's 100,000.
For several years now, the crack filling and slag sealing has been accommodated by the operational street maintenance budget. That's how we've done it for the last several
Understand.
years. So we'll see what comes back and make decisions based on budgetary constraints. And
Okay, so I guess my question is, and I know you sent this out to us, the crack filling, looking at this, I don't know, just eyeballing at there, got to be 25 to 30 roads for crack filling, just estimating on the list. So are we looking to authorize solicitation of the bid
31.
for all of those, or what? How many?
31.
31?
Mhm.
Okay,
That
so
was a good guess.
are we asking for crack filling for 31 roads?
It could, yes, it could
Please.
be. And a lot of the roads, there's minimal crack filling that needs to be done. Some of our roads that are rated very good, those are the ones we want to keep good. So there's minimal.
No, I
there's
understand
minimal.
that.
So what we do is every year I do a road evaluation and submit it to the town board. It's just an evaluation and a recommendation. And we send it out for bid. And when we have to prioritize, okay, now we go down the list and do we want to keep a good road good? Or do we want to let a road that's say at an 8 or something like that, let's just let it go. And we'll have to put that in the paving or the capital fund. And that's how we work it.
I appreciate all of that. All I'm trying to get a handle on, and I have the same questions, I guess, for the same thing for the slag work and the sealing and that type of thing. I'm just trying to figure out what we're soliciting a bid for and how much we expect it to cost. Do we have any idea what 31 roads of crack filling would cost?
Not yet.
Well, we could go off of last year is what we spent on what, and I don't know, I have the number on the top of my head. I'm not sure how many roads we had crack filled, but we could go off of that.
It wouldn't make any sense. They're not going to be the same.
No, I
amount
know,
of
I get
filling,
that.
Not going to be the same amount of road miles.
The-
That's what we're going out to bid for, to find out how much it's going to be.
Supervisor Fisher, what we've done in the past is we've put in all of what we're hoping to get done. And then when the bids come in, if we have to pull some, we do. And that's why I was getting the form properly approved by our attorney to make sure that that's possible and not,
And then
can't
would
have
that-
any
Would
concern.
the bids come back and be approved by the board prior to being issued?
That's correct.
Other questions?
So I guess just a question, just assuming for a minute, there's 31 roads. Are we, for crack filling, are we asking for 31 bids for crack filling?
We ask for them as a whole, and we ask for them as individuals. And they understand that in the bid, they understand that roads can be removed from the bid. That's the process we've taken in the past, and that's the bid form that we've used in the
Okay.
past.
I guess I would like to see, and I'll support the motion tonight so we can move ahead, but I'd like to see a copy of the bid form when you decide what you're going to include with it, and I'll just make that same request for the slag road and the spot sealing. We'll get to it to move it along, but I'd like to see that a minimum of 3 working days before it goes out to bid.
Okay,
Thank you.
I can send all 4 of the bid documents to you.
Anything further? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to 3, direct the clerk treasurer to work with DPW director on the 2018 road slag work and go out for bid using a form approved by the town attorney. No, we did.
Slag, we did road crack filling.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion. We direct the clerk to work with DPW for the road slag.
And a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
How many roads does that possibly entail?
Slag, 1, 2. $20.
Okay, and are some of the roads that require slag road, the roads that require crack filling?
Yes.
So then,
And there are also some roads that we had crack filled last year that are
Okay.
ready to be slagged.
my question then, I guess, is going to be how are you proposing to prepare the bid if we've got a separate bid for crack filling and we've got a separate bid for road slag work? If there are roads that require crack filling and road slag, how is that going to be structured in the bid?
I don't know how it's going to work with the bid, but I'm going to tell you, there's only one contractor that does slag work in the state, and that's Scott Construction.
Don't say that here.
Well, I'm just telling you.
So what we've done is we've had the crack filling, we do the bid for the crack fill, period, and that's what they do. And then the next bid is, they're totally separate. And then we do the slag, and we work, Jerry works with our vendor, whoever the vendors are that you have chosen, for each bid, and make sure that the crack filling gets done prior to the slag work or the spot sealing or.
So we could then conceivably have contractor A doing the crack filling and then contractor B doing the slag work?
Yes, absolutely.
Have we had that in the past?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to 4, direct the clerk treasurer to work with the DPW director in the 2018 road spot sealing and go out for a bid using a form approved by the town attorney. Is there a motion?
Okay, I'll make the motion.
And a second.
I'll second.
Consistency.
We have 8 roads.
On the chart here, that is which code?
FP, Flex Seal,
It's what?
Flex Seal, spots. We're talking about spot seal, right? Flex patch,
SP,
F.
Frank Paul.
Okay, all right,
Oh,
thank you.
sorry.
Anything further? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to B, appointments. Appointment made by the town board. Well, is it made by the board or the chair?
It's made by the board, but you can appoint someone
Okay,
and then the board can
the,
decide.
the board approves.
No, when it comes to the fire commission, the appointment is made by the board, period. There's no approval, so you can state
Okay.
who you'd like and then the board
My
will.
appointment would
vote
be
on it.
Dave Vewig.
Which item number around, please?
We're on B1, BI.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Motion?
Is there a motion?
So I'll make a motion to appoint Dave Vewig to the Fire Commission.
And a
Second.
Brian, gotcha.
He can have it if he wants. to.
Discussion?
Obviously, you have talked to him. Or are we just dropping it on him?
Everybody likes surprises. Yes, I spoke with them. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. On to II, appointment made by the chairman of a plan commission member for a 3-year term. This is
Currently held by Bob.
yeah, for Bob Flanagan. Sorry, I got confused there. And I would like to appoint Bob Flanagan again. And on to 3, is there a motion for confirmation?
I'll make a motion that we confirm Bob Flanagan.
And a second.
Have you talked to him?
Roger, yes.
Thank you.
Now, he really does like surprises. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Appointment made by the chairman of a plan commission member for a 3-year term. I would like to appoint Brian Webb to that position. Yes, I've spoke with them. On to 5, is there a motion for confirmation?
I'll make a motion that we confirm Brian Webb.
And a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to an appointment for the Plan Commission for a 1-year term, currently held by Ken Miller. I'd like to reappoint Ken Miller. Is there a motion for confirmation?
Also move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to 8, appointment by the chairman of Mike Borchard as weed commissioner per state stats 660517 for a 1-year term. Term will end on April 30, 2018.
19.
Correct.
I'll make a motion
Do we
for
need-
Mike Borcher for weed commissioner
Just need the appointment. There's
or
no,
for the appointment. Oh, it's just the
it's just an
appointment?
appointment.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Has anybody
Didn't mean to-
has anybody spoken to him?
Didn't mean to tread on your rights, Chairman.
What did he say?
You also like surprises. On to C, approval for procurement of replacement network server in an amount not to exceed $15,000. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the replacement of the server not to exceed 15,000.
And a second.
I'll second that.
Discussion.
What was the amount budgeted, Matt?
17,500.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion and possible action for approval of the video recording and projection system upgrades.
Okay, so in front of you, you have a, from Metro Sound. As I mentioned, in the past, we've had some trouble with inconsistencies with our video on the website. I asked them to come in and give us 2 bids, one for specifically for updating our video recording system. This will allow someone to be seen from the podium, so the residents aren't just looking at the back of the person that's talking to you. It'll also get our quality, our picture quality much better. So that bid came in at 6,000.
320.
Thank you. Here it is, yeah, 6,320. They also gave us a bid to update our projection system, and that's kind of what we're using tonight. This will allow, normally on our plan commission meeting, the two supervisors to my left are sitting in the dark most of the plan commission meeting. And, and the residents are unable to see what we're displaying. This will allow the residents to see what's being displayed. It will also allow the board members to look on the back and see what's being viewed by our residents during the entire meeting.
Thank you. Is there a motion for discussion?
I'll make the motion.
Sorry.
In a second?
What is the
Sorry about
motion
that.
for?
Discussion whether or not we check either one of those bids.
So it's a motion for discussion.
A motion to discuss accepting either one of the bids. Do you have a motion? A second?
No.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, so my suggestion is
All in
that
favor?
Not yet.
my suggestion is to go with the video recording system of the $6,320. I have that in currently in my expense budget, so it can be covered by the budget. I would like to suggest we hold off on the projection system and look at that when we start looking at our capital budget again for next year.
Is there any savings by doing them together?
No, I asked that as well.
Discussion. I haven't had a chance to look at this yet. When did we get this information?
When did you get it?
Yeah.
You just got it on your desk.
Okay, I mean, I guess I would ask, and I'm not trying to be ornery tonight, but I'd like to, I mean, we've got a, 7-page proposal here. I'd like to have an opportunity to at least read that before I vote on anything. I'm completely in support of trying to upgrade things. In fact, I had that discussion with you a number of weeks ago. I'm supportive of doing it, but I can't in good conscience sit here and vote on something that I haven't even looked at yet.
Well,
So I can't vote for it tonight.
Right. Well, I brought it forward to see if we had people that were interested in upgrading, and I told you I would give you what the cost of it would be.
Yeah.
So that's.
Well, I mean,
what
count
I'm
me absolutely in favor of upgrading as one of the two supervisors who sits in the dark here. Don't mean
And to the left.
drag you into that, to the left and in the
Oh,
dark.
sorry.
I'm absolutely interested in looking at the upgrades. I just don't think it's responsible business to vote on something tonight that I haven't even looked at. Maybe some of you can read quicker than I can, but I can't vote for this tonight, even though I may very well completely support it.
Would you like to make a motion to table it?
If you promise me that you'll second it, I sure will.
You got my word.
I'll move the table.
2? You want to go to the next meeting or the meeting after that one? It might be.
Well, I know the clerk sometimes likes to stagger these things. Do you have a preference? Do you want this a month downstream so that all of our expensive people don't have to sit and listen to it?
That's correct.
That's her pleasure. So it'll be the second meeting in May, whatever that date is.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Okay,
All in
so,
favor?
hold on.
Yeah.
We have a motion and a second on the table prior. So are we going to remove those two?
I think if there's a motion on the table, it trumps that, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
I read the book.
Our resident expert in Robert's Rules of Order is indeed correct.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to transient merchant licenses for pest control for Brock Shackett, Logan Shackett, and Jose Cialis.
I'm asking for, these are the three that would be, go through for approval. I thought that I needed to bring it toward the board. My understanding is that I just needed to let you know who I was approving. So I'm going to approve these three. What they're doing is pest control. None of them have any records in our state.
Thank you. On to F, transfer of $121,536.20 from general fund to the capital fund to follow the fund balance policy, which states we are to maintain a balance of at least 25%, but no more than 40% of the ensuing year's budgeted expenditures. This move would work to stay consistent with the general fund balance policy. Is there a motion?
Also move.
And a second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I think it would just be important to point out the policy that's in place is to maintain at least 25% and no more than 40% of the ensuing year's budgeted expenditures. As I understand correctly, and Paul France, I believe is his name,
Correct.
gave us the number of the $121,536.20. My understanding is he computed that at the top end of the 40%. I think everybody on the board needs to understand that. It's not a singular number. That's the top end. If you want to go somewhere between the 25 and 40%, it's a different number. I don't know that we have that number tonight. I mean, I made the motion. I'll certainly support it, but I think everybody needs to clearly understand that before you vote on it.
Supervisor Fisher, in the future, would you prefer that I put the 25% number and the upper numbers so then you can make the decision on the floor? Or would you like to continue moving what the auditor has suggested?
No, I think it would be helpful to have those numbers. Again, I'll support this tonight, but it could be helpful because the policy is a range or a boundary. And I have I mean, they can speak. I have no idea what 4 other board members are thinking at this point in time. Maybe they think 25% is fully enough or whatever. So I'm just pointing out the fact that that's the 40% number.
So I'm just trying to understand in 2000, and I know what you're saying here, but in 2019, when I bring this forward, would you prefer in the item that I put how much 25% is
Sure,
of the
I
budget?
think you should have the
40% of the budget?
25% and the 40% number and say basically it's the prerogative of this board. It's not a prerogative, it's our responsibility to follow the policy to stay within that range. And you can go to the bottom,
Okay.
you can go to the top of it, or you can go anywhere in between. I think that would be helpful in the
Okay.
future.
I can do that.
Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to G. 2018 ORD-2 to amend 6-3-12, sub M, street numbers to be displayed.
I brought this forward. Sorry, motion.
Is there a motion to adopt that ordinance replacement?
I move we adopt that ordinance.
In a second.
I'll second that.
So the reason I brought this forward was we had some of our residents that were getting confused over the 2 different areas and how they were worded. So this was kind of just to clean up that code to make it easier for our residents. It also deals with the resident at the end of the cul-de-sac, because if they put it at the angle, their flag at the angle, the fire trucks coming in would have to go around the circle to get to see their address. So this allows them to display it at an angle where coming down the cul-de-sac, you'd be able to see that.
Questions, comments?
So if we adopt this policy, how do they know where to place the signpost when tiles are involved?
They're putting them in the exact same spot as, that's why I put this together, was so then they put them in the exact same spot. So the address tiles will be placed in the same, post shall be 6.5 feet, galvanized steel post, shall not be less than 4 feet. It's the second to last paragraph, 5 feet above the surface. All of them are, this section is not I and 1 and 2. It's that paragraph is for both 1 and 2, flags and tiles. So it still has to be so far above the driveway. The post shall be an address, only have the address sign on it. Other signs can't be placed. It's at the back edge of both the flag and the tile signs shall be at the back end of the road right of way. Are you asking me how they would know what the road right of way is?
No, you answered my
Oh, okay.
confusion.
All right.
So we went around on this when we discussed changing to flags and mandating flags. So posts, where it reads, posts shall be 6.5 feet galvanized steel channel posts, not less than 4 feet, but not more than 5 feet above the surface of the driveway. The post shall be for address signs only. No other sign shall be placed on the post. Back edge of the address flag or address tiles shall be the back edge of the road right of way. So for folks that have their address tiles on a post or some other structure other than a post, are we going to start mandating that they change that? I mean, I was all in favor of going to flags only, and I supported that and brought it forward. The reason I ask is because there was significant opposition to that. So in respect to my fellow supervisors who had that opposition, I don't know if we want to start running around and mandating posts now.
Would you
That's my
like,
concern.
would you like to take out that the
Well, I would like to go to all
Specificity.
address flags, but
yeah,
I didn't
specificity
get
of
any
the
legs on that.
6.5 feet galvanized steel channel posts, or just leave it, take that portion out? The post shall be not less than 4 feet, not more than 5 feet above the surface of the driveway, and just take out the 6.5 feet galvanized steel channel post and allow them to put it on whatever they want.
I would think so. We've got
Okay.
some residents that have some pretty elaborate displays.
I can do that.
I get one, go ahead.
Please.
I guess one other question to help out, maybe this explained, I wasn't listening well, but were the flags, it says the flag shall be installed perpendicular to the road, and maybe I missed that if you went through it, but perpendicular to the road means I look from the road and I look at the sign face?
That's correct.
For the new flags.
The new flags, that's correct.
That's the way all of them are now.
So you go down the road and the flag is this way, you come
So
from
that
this way,
your
you
light
see
But
it this
shows
that's,
way.
on the flag.
but that's not perpendicular to the road.
Yeah, it is.
If this is the road,
No, they got two faces on them, don't they?
yep, this way and this way. So if you're coming
The sign-
west or you're coming
We
east,
could take a tour out on the front.
No,
The town's got
the
one.
sign, each sign face, I mean, perpendicular, the sign face is not
no,
perpendicular
the
to the
tile
road.
is.
The
I
sign
mean, the sign itself
is.
is perpendicular to the road. And the flags are parallel to the road. I mean, the tiles are parallel to the road and the flags are perpendicular to the road.
The flag at the town hall here is perpendicular to the road, isn't it?
Right, our address flag. But our town hall flag is parallel to the road. Our big town hall,
Oh, right.
that's parallel.
But
Our flag sticks out
Our
this way.
address flag
Mhm.
is perpendicular to the road, isn't it?
That's correct. That's correct.
So did we make any other changes? I mean,
That's-
have we made changes to what's in front of us?
Other than the, taking out the 65-foot galvanized steel channel post, that's what I heard.
6 point-
That's 6.5. Sorry. Sorry.
It's way up in there.
We want these things to be visible.
At that height, it won't make any difference if it's perpendicular or parallel, either one, you have to be looking up.
6.5.
All right.
Are we, a serious question on this, I mean, assuming we go ahead and do this, does any of this need to be communicated, reminded to town residents in a newsletter, anything? How do we, I mean, it's wonderful that 6 people sit behind the desk and we've got same number of people in the audience, maybe a couple of people watching, but I mean, how do we communicate any of this stuff to town residents?
Whenever I do a newsletter, I try to drop in anything that was new. This is
Okay.
something that I
When's-
did the address flags, the last newsletter, the fall newsletter. I'll do that again this fall and remind them.
Okay, thank
Everybody
you.
that does not have address flags or address tiles will receive a copy of this in with their letter so they understand what the code actually is.
Sounds pretty thorough.
Hope so.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to H, discussing and possible action on the 2018 R06 resolution to set policy for paramedic training tuition.
Chief and I work together on this one. We currently do, Chief, if you want to speak on it, you surely can.
Do we have a motion
Sorry.
I'll make a motion to accept resolution number 2018-06.
and a second?
I'll second.
We currently pay tuition for EMT basic and EMT intermediate school. And what I'm asking is that we change our policy to include the paramedic program. It amounts to about $1,500 in tuition over the intermediate program. Currently, we pay, a paramedic goes to school, we pay the cost that we would pay for an intermediate to go to school. So they have to pick up the balance.
So this will allow our paramedics, which is the level that you're trying to achieve here at the town, correct? Have more paramedics. And so we brought this forward thinking that this would help our members that are interested.
Is there any length of service tied into that?
Yes, yes, we require 3 years of service from them.
How long again?
3.
Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to I, creation of snowplow route maps. Supervisor Durr, I think this was you.
I don't think so.
Supervisor Fisher.
Oh, I'm sorry. Would you like to turn that into a motion and
No,
ask for some?
I'd like to
maps
discuss
reviewed?
it, but if
Okay.
you won't allow that, then we're
We'll
not
move
going
on.
to talk about
Accounts
it.
payable. Our authorization. in the
Can I
amount-
just ask a point of clarification? We've had a whole bunch of other items that you allow discussion before a motion. How come my
I tried-
requests have to have a motion first?
tried
Why
not
the
I
hypocrisy?
tried not to.
Sorry.
Oh,
New
seems like a
New
double
policy.
standard to me.
new policy, and I'm trying to get control of it.
Well, you're having a lot of problems.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. Authorization in the amount of $88,965. Is there a motion?
Move we pay that amount?
And a second.
I'll second.
And Madam Clerk, a roll call vote.
Chairman Merritt?
Aye.
Supervisor Fisher?
Aye.
Supervisor Durr?
Aye.
Supervisor Radke?
Aye.
Supervisor Wolf?
Aye.
Motion carries. On to 11. You're hereby notified the town board of the town of Waukesha will convene and may upon motion duly made and seconded and acted on by a roll call vote as required in Wisconsin Stats 1985 sub 1 sub C. Go into closed session during the course of the meeting. Town board members may attend the closed session. The purpose of the closed session will be as follows. Purpose of the meeting will consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation of any public employee over which a governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility as authorized under 1985 sub 1 sub C, specifically relating to compensation for the fire chief, fire inspector, fire department members, clerk treasurer, and DPW director. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
I'll make a motion, we go into closed session.
And a second.
Second.
And Madam Clerk, a roll call vote?
Chairman Merrick?
Aye.
Supervisor Fisher?
Aye.
Supervisor Durr?
Aye.
Supervisor Radke?
Aye.
Supervisor Wolf?
Aye.
We are in closed session. We'll be out as soon as possible.
I saw a wolf truck, an asphalt truck, but I really can't say what was, could have been gravel.
Last week I was busy, so I called every morning this week. We're not asking. They don't answer the phone.
I think they can carry them back to their lease, get into the next month of license plates on the truck.
Well, not only that, last week, when we were talking about it, a lot of this stuff, like our stuff.
Yeah.
I think they they're up to
Yeah.
well, I'm sure if the truck crews are out there. Probably get some of it. I think it won't be more than a week or two.
U.S. Postal Service said suspects. I screwed up, I didn't get fired.
Oh, how about that?
There wasn't a board of trade meeting or something.
No, they canceled it.
I had someone
They were going to, and then they said no. We're thinking about it. So much money. They shield you out.
20 years.
Yeah, they're jumping. Yeah,
Now you,
you're never gonna keep the public happy when you're dealing with the public.
Some of those blessings of the cheaper ones now is more expensive. The cheaper ones are sliding. You go by it, you don't even have to go there. It's slow, you hit it, and it slides, it slides. They're not all of it, but the whole top slides right on the line. Stop, put it back on, pop it right off, slide right in. What the heck is this? One guy had. I call local.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
And a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.